Hello and welcome to FPL Malvo. My name is Andy. I've decided this season to split my videos into two. So this is what I'm calling my game week preview. I'll still be back with a team selection video later in the week, but on this one I'm going to focus away from my own team and a little bit more generally about the kind of options that we should be looking at for our FPL teams. If you enjoy these videos, then please do subscribe to the channel and give it a like. It's much appreciated when you guys do that. But without further ado, let's jump straight into it. So I actually feel that a lot of the most interesting things around this game week are around the kind of budget defenders. So let's start with talking about Quansah from Liverpool. He's somebody that I own in my own team. I think he was a really good option, or looked a really good option, because he's 4.5 million. He's looked like he was going to start the season in a Liverpool team who I think will be top four, if not fighting for the title. And um, yeah, they've got probably the best fixtures out of any of the kind of top six to start the season. Quansah started, came off after 45 minutes, wasn't an injury apparently. Slot said that, I mean, in general, he said he wasn't happy with the amount of duels that Liverpool were losing across the pitch to Ipswich. And Quansah in particular kind of struggled a little bit physically, I think, against Rory Delap. He won a few. So yeah, I would be surprised if he started next week. However, I think I'd throw a little bit of caution in there. It's difficult for people who have got the person I'm going to talk about next as well, Barco, who didn't play at all for Brighton, because that means that you've only got three possible defenders really who are likely to start, and I totally accept that that's an issue. However, I think he's 4.5 million. You can sit him on your bench. I don't think it's something you have to deal with this week. It's not like you've got a 10 million pound player who isn't looking like they're going to start. He's very benchable. And in fact, I'd kind of, because I've got double Liverpool defence, there are fixtures coming up like the United fixture in game week 3, where I probably would have benched him anyway. So yeah, I would be surprised if we play, particularly because Liverpool have got Brentford up next, who are kind of known for being quite a physical side. However, with no Ivan Toney, or at least doesn't look like Ivan Toney's likely to start that game, it does take a little bit of that physicality out. So you never know. He might. In my team, I'm probably just going to play him from the start. I think it's unlikely that he'll come off the bench. So yeah, I'm going to probably put him on my team, hope that he starts. If he doesn't, I do have a backup to come in. That would be how I would play it, because I think there's the small possibility that he starts that Brentford game, plays well, keeps his place. He was first choice going into the season. He's only had 45 minutes where he didn't quite hit it. And I know they've got Canate on the bench, but I would prefer to hold on. Barco looked like he could be an incredible £4 million starter for Brighton, really attacking left back. I actually considered taking him out of my draft right before the deadline, having had him in almost every draft. A couple of reasons why I didn't. One is all the other £4 million defenders. I mean, there's a couple that'll start, and you know they'll start every week. Howard Bellis has been quite popular, Vice as well from Leicester. But the problem is that they have no attacking returns sort of potential at all, and I would say pretty low on the old clean sheet potential as well. I think you're sitting them third on your bench looking for a 2-pointer at best. You know, they play in emergencies, and Barco had the potential to be a lot more than that. The reason I considered getting rid of him was people were saying that there was a chance that apparently Balebo's a central midfielder could possibly play at left back, and in the end, he went with neither option. It was Hinchelwood, who again is a young central midfielder. He's played at right back before. He got the nod at left back. I think the Barco dream is done, but again, like transfers are really key. I think if you've got four other playing defenders, I wouldn't be wasting a transfer on Barco. I would just park him third on my bench to swap him to another £4 million. You know, they're a playing option, of course, that you would swap them to, but you're so rarely going to need to use it. It seems a waste for a transfer to me when transfers are so key in this game. So yeah, if it was me, I'd hold him. I know you'll probably lose a little bit of value on him, but that's something I would suck up. I don't think the 0.1, 0.2 million is worth the transfer, particularly for somebody like me who's looking at maybe wildcarding around game week 6. Yeah, I would hold off on that one. But yeah, I don't expect him to suddenly start next week for Brighton. That is a misstep for anyone who's got him in their FPL teams. He's owned by 23.7% of managers, so that is a lot of managers. And the final budget defender is Mazraoui, who I thought played really well. I watched that United game. He had a decent game. I don't think he's a brilliant option suddenly to bring into our FPL team. So I don't think he has massive attacking potential. He didn't get forward a huge amount in that game. He did a little bit, but not a huge amount. He was very defensively solid, good on the ball, like passing accuracy stats, I imagine, were very good just from the eye test. Um, I don't know when Luke Shaw is likely to be back for United, but when he does, I kind of imagine that Dallo and Shaw will be first choice. So there is that potential of him losing his place. And even if he doesn't, I just don't think that that's worth a transfer. I think there are loads of good £4.5 million defenders. I think if you started with Mazraoui, I think he's a very solid option alongside people like Dan Burn. I've got Robinson in my team. Quansah was popular. Like, there's loads of good 4.5. I don't think Mazraoui is a standout option above them. I wouldn't be rushing out to bring him in just because he got bonus points against Fulham. Also, United, you look at the next couple of fixtures, Brighton away and Liverpool at home. I'm not entirely sure they'll keep a clean sheet in either of those fixtures. And like I say, I'm not convinced that Mazraoui will get attacking returns. So it's a no from me. I think if you were the second week wildcarding, then he's a perfectly decent option at 4.5 million. So if we look at the premium defenders, first of all, got William Saliba to talk about. A clean sheet for Arsenal, as you would expect. For most of last season, or at least the second half of last season, I doubled up on the Arsenal defence. They're the best defence in the league, and I expect them to be the best defence in the league again this year. However, I have no Arsenal defenders. I think that Wolves fixture is the best fixture that they've got in the first five. You look at the rest of them, you can see on screen there, Villa away, Brighton at home. Brighton at home, they could get a clean sheet. I mean, they could get a clean sheet in any of them, but I think Villa at home, Tottenham away. They've got Manchester City away after that. For me, 6 million isn't worth it for that set of fixtures. I think there are. I think they'll probably end up with as many clean sheets or as many points as a sort of 4.5 defender. After that, yeah, go nuts. Like, if I wildcard in game week 6, I will possibly double up on the Liverpool defense. In fact, probably double up on the Liverpool defense. Also, you do get attacking returns from Saliba, Gabriel. They're very good from set pieces. So I can see it. I can see why he's so highly owned at 40%. But I think with those fixtures, I wouldn't be rushing to bring him in. They hardly scream, go out and buy me. The second one is Gvardiol. I always think it's risky picking Manchester City players at the start of the season because I think Pep worries about getting found out. Essentially, I think he goes away in summer and tries to think of a new way of doing things so that, teams don't see them play the same way season to season. I think it's partly why he's so successful. We saw Gvardiol getting really high, really wide for the entire second half of the season. First game of the season, he didn't do that. I think there's two reasons for that. One is because Rico Lewis played right back and he is so good inverting into midfield that Pep's always going to play him that way. That might not continue because Walker might win his spot back, although Lewis was really good, I thought, in that game and may well keep his place. But the second one was Manchester City now have options of pacey wingers. We saw them play two, quick wingers against Chelsea. It wouldn't surprise me if that continued. I think Oscar Bob probably would have played if he hadn't picked up his injury. Again, another sort of quick, fairly direct winger. And I don't think Gvardiol will get as high as and wide whilst we're playing that sort of system. It's not the same as having like a Grealish or a Foden out on the left, who will kind of, hold onto the ball and bring space for others. So Gvardiol is another one. I mean, look, they got a clean sheet and he got 6 points. I'm not having to go at him as a pick. And the fixtures coming up are pretty decent for City as well. So, yeah, I think he's a decent pick. I think clean sheet's possible. City have had a knack over the last couple of seasons of conceding one goal in a 4-1 win or, a late goal. to lose those clean sheet points. So again, it's a no from me, but I totally get it as a pick. And if you picked him and you've got your 6 points and you're looking pretty happy, I certainly don't think the attacking returns will anywhere near match how he did at the end of last season, though. And finally, Trent Alexander-Arnold, 8 points because of a couple of bonus. He could have had way more in that Liverpool match. I've seen the highlights. Second half, he was absolutely terrific. Probably best player on the pitch. The fixtures coming up: Brentford at home, United away, Nottingham Forest at home. Pretty nice. And I expect Trent to get attacking returns in that. I spoke about it on my team selection video that I think Trent is playing in his best position under Slot, where he gets into that wide right channel, really. He can come inside, he can go outside, but mainly you're putting him in positions where he can whip fantastic balls into the box. That's what he's best at. I think you need to get him into those areas, and I think Slot's looking like he's going to do that. So, yeah, Trent owned by 30% of managers. I think that'll go up massively in the next few game weeks. Midfielders now, and there's three that I want to talk about. The first one is Eze, and a lot of the things I'm going to say about Eze is something you could say about Morgan Rogers. I own both of them in my team. Eze should have had a goal, could have had an assist, which was ruled out for offside. Very tight, probably the right decision. The free kick, I'm less convinced about, but um, sometimes you don't always get the rewards. So 2 points for each of them. I think that I'm really happy to have both of them in my team. Morgan Rogers played 90 minutes. It was interesting that Bailey was the winger who was taken off. In fact, Rogers played quite centrally, it sounds like, for a lot of that game. Yeah, I think you don't always get the reward from a good performance. It sounded both of them played really well. I think Rogers is, I mean, nailed is probably overplaying it, but I think the place is his to lose. I think he'll start the next match. It is against Arsenal, but they have nicer fixtures afterwards, that Leicester game and then Everton at home. Um, if you need a cheap midfielder, I think he's fantastic. And Eze, I think, will just be the fulcrum of that Crystal Palace team as long as he doesn't leave. I imagine he's on penalties there as well. So, yeah, I think both of them are terrific options. If you're looking to downgrade a midfielder, um, yeah, I think you could do worse than either of those two, despite the fact that they got 2 points. I think that's how you do well in FPL. Don't look at the points that somebody's got, look at the points potential for them to get in the future. And I really like the potential of both of them. Uh, Lastly, Diego Jota, a player who I don't own, and I kind of wish I did. I stayed away from most people who went deep into European competition and had like a small preseason or no preseason. And a lot of them haven't hit the ground running. The one player I did go for was Anthony Gordon, who'd only had a 45 minutes of preseason, really. And it sounded like he was a bit off the pace in that Newcastle game. Now he may come good, wouldn't surprise me at all. I kind of wish I'd just gone for Diego Jota. I think the longer that you leave Jota, the worse option that he is, because he's I think he'll start the next game up front and he may start the United game as well. But you've got Gakpo and you've got Darwin Núñez there. His place isn't guaranteed at all, but the same thing as Morgan Rogers, really. I think the place is his to lose. He had a higher XG than Mo Salah in that Liverpool game, and also, came away with a goal, 8 points. Yeah, I think if you leave it longer than the competition for that place is gonna make him a non-option. But if you're bringing him in this week, I think he's a terrific option and could be, for the short term, fantastic. I've already spoken about those Liverpool fixtures. It's not an option for me, even if I wanted to use a transfer on it because I'm tripled up on Liverpool. But yeah, if you're not and you've got a 7.5 million midfielder, it's a decent swap to him. It may not last for long, but I think in the short term, he could be fantastic. And to finish off, here's the three strikers I wanted to talk about. First of all, Ollie Watkins. I had him in my first draft. I took him out after he played no minutes of pre-season because I expected him to be a little rusty to start the season. And he was. He had XG of 0 in that game. He came off after 60 minutes. Duran came on as well and scored the winner. Ollie Watkins will be fine this season. He'll score plenty of goals. I've absolutely no doubt about that. I think if you own him, you just have to suck it up because he's playing his way back into sort of full match fitness at the moment. And yeah, he probably will be a bit rusty. That Arsenal fixture up next is tough. As I already said for Villa, I think their fixtures pick up after it. So yeah, if I've got him, I'm holding him. But um, yeah, I maybe wouldn't expect big returns in the next couple of games. But I think you just hold on and you hope that the Ollie Watkins of old comes back, which I'm pretty sure it will. Next up, Chris Wood, 6 million. I went Muniz from Fulham. Fulham have some really nice fixtures coming up, so he could easily catch up with Chris Wood. But his goal scoring from the end of last season into this season has been fantastic. Like he is just a big natural number nine, his goal scorer, and he's a really good option. I'm not going to waste a transfer swapping Muniz to Wood. I think they could match each other over the next few weeks. But you look at those fixtures for Nottingham Forest, Southampton away and Wolves at home up next. They're pretty nice. He's a really nice option, I think, and I sort of regret not going for him. And lastly, Kai Havertz. It's going to be similar to what I've said about Saliba, really. He got a goal and assist, 12 points. I think he's a. I don't really get the argument about Arsenal needing a striker. I think if they signed a striker, they will probably score. I think Ivan Toney would score more goals than Kai Havertz in that Arsenal team. Do I think Arsenal would score more goals as a whole? Not convinced. I think Kai Havertz is a pretty fantastic player. He brings other players into the game. He creates space for players like Saka and Martinelli to get in behind. I wouldn't bring him in now with Arsenal away. Sorry, with Villa away, Brighton at home, Tottenham away, Manchester City away. They are tough fixtures. I'm not expecting Havertz or Saka or any of Arsenal's really good options to get mega points. After that, they look fantastic. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about those 12 points that I've not got. I My guess is he won't keep that up over the next few game weeks. I've been proven wrong before, though, so if you really fancy a punt on it, go for it. I think he's nailed in that team. There is the possibility he drops back into midfield and Jesus comes in up front. There is the possibility Arsenal sign another number nine, but I think for now, he's pretty nailed in that team. So that's it for my game week preview ahead of game week two. Let me know what you think of the two video format, whether it makes any difference at all. Also, let me know what you think of my comments on some of those players. If you enjoyed the video, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. But I'll leave it there for now. I'll be back with my team selection video soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.